Hello and welcome to Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
Slick.
And Slick calling in via Skype from his palatial estate somewhere on the backside of the Tucson mountains. And still sick.
That's right. Hang on. Here comes a big one.
All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a Fred Sanford cough there.
got some good wheezing in on that one. Wheezy?
I was waiting for grab.
No, that's a whole different television show.
I was waiting for you to grab your heart there. Oh,
Elizabeth, I'm coming.
So I take it you survived the New Year, you survived Christmas, and you survived CES.
But not on purpose.
No, we only survived CES because we're not there.
Yeah.
It's actually still happening this morning. Matter of fact, I know Steve was broadcasting from there this morning. A lot of people broadcasting from there this morning. I mean, it was like the thing. If you were a webcaster or a broadcaster, you had to be there. And of course, we being different from the phrase said, I guess we can't make it.
Yeah, I was prepared to throw some clean underwear in a bag had I gotten the call at the moment's notice. I was like, okay, should I get the call from Andy? If Andy says he's got the keys, he's coming over. Ready to.
We were supposed to, and the problem is this TV project that I'm involved in was supposed to start. Actually, it was supposed to start next week. Then the producer said it was starting the 3rd. So suddenly it was like, okay, we can't go. Then about 3 days before, he said, okay, we're moving it back. So it was kind of suddenly we were at this point where, okay, I can go now. I had 3 days to be able to try and put it together before. This is the lapse between Christmas and New Year's. And the problem is this producer's working on a feature in Las Vegas. So he's actually in Las Vegas. So it was kind of like, all right, so how can we work this out? You know, I never even thought to ask him, can we just stay at one of the hotels that they're shooting at? That would have been good. But I think they wrapped for the holidays, so it worked into one of the same things. So it came down to us basically trying to get a sponsorship because, you know, I've been working part-time. I haven't had a lot of money coming in. So we tried really hard. We tried with Comcast. We tried with a couple other people. But at this point, it was just too late. But as a matter of fact, I think I got my friend at Comcast got back to me the day CES started and said, well, maybe for next year we can put something together and maybe we could try that, if that's a possibility. But, however, there is some interest in some other stuff that you and I are doing, Slick, so that's pretty cool. And then the TV project got moved again. Now it's at the end of the month. But I've been working 2-3 jobs in the meantime, so it's just kind of it was one of those where do I skip getting a paycheck and go to CES and cover it, or wait and then really cover it great next year? I've got some great ideas. And some of the things that I've seen that have been lacking from some of the coverage that we can use to make it better. Make it original and make it ours.
Well, at least one of us been working.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that.
I got all these aluminum cans laying around here. No way to get them into town.
Oh, boy. Well, tell us what have been your thoughts of CES 2011? I mean, we've seen a lot of coverage coming out of it. Yeah.
Now, I did step back to rethink, to try to put into context my statement that I'm about to make about CES, to make sure that, as best as I could, that it's a fair statement and it may not be tainted by the fact that we're not there. So I thought about it. And I think what I'm about to say is fair based on what I've seen reported mostly from television as well as the internet. Okay. Right. Now, and this is it. It seems to me, as can happen and has happened, and seems to be happening currently, that most of the reporters, the media people out there, are jumping on the same thing. It's the regurgitation of what somebody else said or what a company or organization or section is pushing. And what I mean by that is this: tablets. All I've heard about it, it's the CES. The tablets are the thing at CES. Okay, tablets. Everybody's saying tablets are the thing at CES.
Right.
Great. Show me something. Show me something exciting or interesting or different. Show me something. Nothing. They're all saying the same thing. tablets are the great is the thing at CES. I've already heard that. Tell me something else about tablets. Come on.
Right.
Nothing.
They seem to be, I think everyone is touting, okay, their tablet's going to be this much, and this tablet's going to be this much, and this tablet has this feature, and this, I mean, we've seen the gamut of tablets, I think, now, that are running everywhere from, $199 all the way to the $700 tablets, and each one offering a little something different.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is, I guess again, maybe it's me because I'm a stickler for information and detail. I'm like, well, if you're gonna promote something, if you're gonna push something, I got a tablet. Great. Tell me about your tablet. Tell me why I should buy your tablet. Tell me what's exciting and different about your tablet. Well, it's 7 inches screen's got. Oh, okay. It's got buttons on the front. Yeah, and what does it? How is it different than anybody else's tablet? Does it do anything? I mean, tell me something. Nothing.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. What about smartphones? Haven't seen anything really exciting about smartphones too. Now again, we have to go by what they're showing us. There's a lot of little things that we probably don't see. There's a lot of vendors out there. 126,000 people first day of CES that we probably have not even seen that could be like the coolest thing in the world.
Now, I'm not even sure what that number means. I usually because usually what I do, again, since we're not there, when we're there, we have a different perspective on things. So we get to run up and down the aisles and touch things and take some shots and report back. When we're not there, what I usually try to do is I try to wait. So CES will end. The last day of CES is on Sunday. It's open tomorrow. So tomorrow's the last day. I usually try to give it a week and then see what everybody has. Try to pull together some information about a lot of different people's thoughts about CES, video pictures and stuff like that. So I think for me to get some kind of gauge on how it was, it's going to take maybe by next weekend, but not this weekend. This weekend, I mean, everybody's still pushing and they're still releasing stuff. Who knows? Somebody may be holding something back until I'm not going to announce this until the last day, or Monday, the Monday after or something. So I guess we'll have to see with that. But I don't know. I was talking about tablets. Let me get back. Let me get to my note here. There is one tablet that I did find interesting, and they were talking about it. It's which there been some pronouncements about this format previously in the middle of the year, middle of last year, but nothing solid, nothing concrete. But they're talking about, which kind of got me excited, a tablet from the NEC. Is it NEC? Yeah, NEC is the company.
NEC is the company?
It's called,
okay.
It's called the LT-W Cloud. And I looked up some information on it. This is another situation where this is probably, I think it's right now it's at 50%, meaning if it's going to be released, it'll be released towards the end of the year, and it's probably not going to be released in the United States first. But there's a 50% chance right now that this tablet is going to be released. This tablet is dual screen. It's got 2 screens on it. So, and I'm sure there's another company out there that I've been trying to follow that has a format like that they're going to be releasing.
Now, if you don't mind, is it open like a book? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to that because I can see the benefit of having 2 screens. I can, just like you said, like a book, like a notebook. I can see for me, I can see the benefit. I want the 2 screens.
I can imagine you could be reading an online newspaper or an online book and then still have a chat window open on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and you can copy. I mean, you could be editing. You could have a document open on screen 1 and another document that you're working on screen 2 and copy and paste from screen 1 onto screen 2, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Right.
However, there have been some negative commentaries about this NEC. It's going to be running on Android. There have been some negative comments about it. Let's see. I'm looking for where do I start here. Let me go over to from geek.com, our friends over at geek.com. In Matthew's opinion about it, down at the bottom, I think he's got 3 paragraphs in his opinion. In the second paragraph, he says, the resistive touchscreens are out, with capacitive the superior alternative. Now, I had to actually go look this stuff up. Yeah. I was like...
Yeah, he lost me.
For a moment there, to me, a touchscreen was a touchscreen. Now he's getting into the different types of technology used in touchscreen, on touchscreen tablets. So The easiest, if you want to go to look it up, I mean, you could do a search on a Wikipedia had a good listing, but I like the two that are on the mobileburn.com website because they've got two different pages for each. On their resistive touchscreen page, resistive touchscreens, think of it this way. You use a stylus, you press down the screen, the top screen touches a back screen. Okay, so that's resistive touch. It's like, think of it as like spring loaded. Okay?
All right.
All right. Capacitive, now we're talking more like the iPod Touch and the iPad. We're not talking about pressure. We're talking about the fact that the electric pulses, or however you want to verbalize that, when you touch the electrical properties of the human body, when you touch the screen, when it comes in contact with the glass screen, all the technology behind the glass screen recognizes the heat, the human contact, the electrical impulse that pass back. So the resistive is, think of it as mechanical, and capacitive is more electronic.
Oh, wow.
And so it's getting, so the NEC dual screen pad, the LT-W, it's getting a bad rap because it's got resistive technology. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with using a stylus. I don't mind. My first tablet PC, my first and only tablet PC that I have, uses, I believe, it's resistive technology on it. It's touch, which is why I really, to be honest, I haven't used it a lot because I've always been afraid. I got this, I don't know, back in 2000.
Right.
I've always been afraid of scratching the screen.
Yeah.
So I've used it, but I haven't used it a lot. I looked at it, and when I used it, I was like, you see, I could see myself going crazy on this and scratching the screen. So I'll use it as a tablet PC, but not a lot. So if they get that resolved, the fact that I'm afraid to scratch the screen with a stylus, like with Palm, I mean, my Palm PDAs, the TX and the LifeDrive, I mean, I've learned from experience, I mean, the screens are going to get scratched. And I hate those overlays, those things they sell, the protective screen covers.
Can't stand those. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those, so I don't use them, never have used them. Would rather just get another unit. So I'm hoping they resolve that. Maybe they can use the glass screen type surface that responds to stylus as well as human touch. Because I love my stylus, pinpointing, specificity about moving stuff around the screen. I would much rather use a stylus. I would.
Right. But a lot of people don't want to have to do that. So that's the whole thing.
Well, that's fine. You can develop these type of tablets to be used by, finger motion, and that's fine. And you can develop tablets to be used with fingers and styluses, and then develop other tablets really to be intended to be used by styluses. But make sure that the screens are durable. The screens have got to be durable.
Well, this has been a really good industry for the glass companies out there. Corningware had a booth at CES, talking about the different glass properties they have in making these new televisions and making tablet PC covers, the whole bit. So it's been a boon for the glass industry, and making better, stronger, more durable glass.
Yeah, I could see that. They probably, if I had to guess, and I could be wrong, but if I had to guess, because you mentioned like Corning, I'm thinking, they probably had this all figured out a long time ago. The clear glass technology, Corning did.
Yeah,
and they probably got the patent on it and wouldn't share it out with anybody until they really paid for it, which I can't blame them for. Really, I can't.
Well, we have, you have a situation here where people want to have tablets now all of a sudden, or at least the media is telling us that people want to have tablets. Do you find like the average consumer that is, say, over the age of 50 would want to carry a tablet? I mean, do you think they would?
Well, for me, this is my guess, because, and I'm working this off of what I've read about demographics and the preferences of demographics. Mm-hmm. Of course, kids, the younger set, lower 20s, they're still all about the mobile phone. So, and I get it. I understand that. That's cool. That's fine. When it comes to tablets, I think we're going to be looking at first a demographic that sees the benefit in tablets. And it's not going to be mass. I don't think it's going to be mass, but it's going to be, when it comes to consumers, it's going to be moms that are making lists and want to get in the car and run out to the store and get this and get that and the other and do runs and stuff like that. Business people, men and women, who want to make their to-do list, excuse me, and jump in the car and make their sales calls and, check it off and stuff like that. In the office, guys have got to run up and down the hallways and do things. You see this? All right, then, all right, sign here to make sure that you acknowledge that kind of thing.
Right.
Those are my first guesses. As far as people who are going to want the tablets. Now, from just a generalistic consumer standpoint, I've read from people who have tablets and have just posted how they use them online. They're using them just like I want to. I want to grab a tablet and jump into bed and watch TV and do a little surfing and note taking and whatever at the same time. Maybe fall asleep reading a book, that kind of thing. There's also, when we talk about tablets, the e-readers are kind of tablets, but they're not really. So they're kind of got one foot in each realm.
It's one feature though. I look at it like a Kindle, and okay, that's fine. You can read a book, but what I don't like about it is just from the standpoint that you can only do so much with it. If I'm going to go spend $600, $500, $400, $300 on a device, I want it to be able to do everything I want it to do. A laptop, or even a netbook in some cases, but a laptop can do it. So for me, still, will it replace the laptop? I don't see it. I don't know about you, Slick, but I just don't see it.
No, it's not going to, but promotions are going to push it, and people are going to go, well, I don't need a laptop anymore. And then they're going to buy it, use it, and go, you know what? So, it's got to happen. Stuff like that just happens. People go, well, I don't need this anymore, and then they buy. Right. I've done it. It happens to me. I buy it. I usually go, you know what? I got to go back this way. Think of it this way: I buy a notebook or buy a netbook. I don't need my day runner anymore. Well, guess what? Sometimes you find that the day runner, the paper and pen, is actually more efficient and faster. Right. Than having to open up the electronic, the notebook and then boot it up or turn it on. Oh, the battery died. And I can't type as fast as.
Happens with my phone all the time. Oh, let me show you this picture I took, and then there's no battery on it.
So it's some people are going to have to learn the hard way. I think if some people could think ahead, if they could think this way and they go, am I willing to invest the money in it? Yes. Am I willing to lose the money in it? That's the line drawer. I mean, that's the line for me right there. Are you willing to lose the money on it? If not, maybe you should wait. If it's okay, then go ahead, spend the money. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. It's like buying a car. It's like buying a refrigerator, like buying a washer. You hope you get what you wanted when you paid for it, and you find out later that's not what I wanted.
One of my clients that I'm doing website stuff for bought 3 or 4 iPads, and he thought it'd be great for salespeople to take it around, and they found that it didn't work for them. In the standpoint that their laptops connected with, a Sprint card, that was kind of the best solution for him. So he was trying to sell me his iPad. And he said, I'll give you a great deal, blah, blah, blah. And he said, wouldn't this be great? You can show clients the web and everything. And I told him, I said, it's the same thing. I like the idea of the tablet. I've used the Samsung Galaxy. I really liked it. But when it got down to it, I want to present a website. I want to have audio. I want to have Flash, if that website has Flash. I want to be able to present all the things that you would see on a website, and sometimes, depending on the tablet, doesn't give you all of those options, especially if you're on an iPad and you're dealing with a site that has Flash or other features that you're not going to be able to see.
Well, as the saying goes, they got sold a bill of goods. They believe the hype.
Right. But then again, you know what it's calling for? And I got to make a point about this, though. It is calling for web developers to think of their user base. And it's like the same way that a lot of us, suddenly got Mobi accounts, .mobi, so we can have mobile type of browser experiences. Some of us got the domains. We didn't even do anything. I'm one of them. I didn't even do anything with it. We have a mobile domain, but we don't use it. We probably should. You should probably think of how many people are going to be visiting your site. It's dependent also. It's going to create the web developers to create websites that are going to be a little more user-friendly for these tablets as well, if they're out there, which it does look, from what CES is saying, it looks like they will be. But I don't think that's the biggest thing, though. And in our discussion that we had with Jessica Corbin, which is up on the website at Tech Talk Radio, Jessica was saying that her discussions with Gary Shapiro from CEA, and we're probably going to be talking to him this coming week as well. And we'll have that interview up on the website. It's not 3D TVs. It's internet-connected television. And you go into any Best Buy, Magnolia store, you go into any kind of home type of store, and you're going to find that that these internet-connected televisions, that's the one pushing the technology.
Mhm.
Oh, this is great. Did you hear
What?
about this?
What?
There's some breaking news here. Just sent on my my iPod. Several shots fired at Congressman Gifford's event in Tucson. And she was going to be at Ina and Oracle this morning, I know. So that's kind of breaking news there for those of us that are here in Tucson.
Well, I'm not that far away, so I'm going to start ducking down over here.
Yeah, I
You don't mind?
wonder what the deal is. Congressman Gifford's event marred by shots, gunshots. Check out KOLD.com. That's the our local CBS affiliate, and they'll be able to give you more stories about that. All right.
Wow.
Which
Let me go back to what you were saying about the Moby
Yeah.
web domains. I've always been a big fan because I'm big on getting around and being mobile and stuff like that. I've always been a big fan of .mobi, and I've always wanted to do stuff for .mobi. I've actually tried some of those free sites where they give you. So I've got some. They're not slick.mobi. It's like I'm slick.mobi or something. Those too long web addresses are out there.
Right.
I've tried some of those services, those free services, but they're not as easy and simple to manage and produce on as, like, let's say your standard blogging website, like Blogger and WordPress and that kind of thing. So that's what's kept me from using .mobi, because I would love, as much as I try to stay connected, I thought my target audience, just in general, for me, just all around life 24/7, is the person out running around with a mobile phone, with Wi-Fi on their iPod Touch or netbook and stuff, and I could try to serve that particular demographic, a consumer or whatever.
Right.
But like I said, I have yet to find a free .mobi service that's as simple and clean and clear and good as a standard blogging website, Blogger, WordPress, whatever. So that's what's been holding me up from it.
Do you think people are well? The phone actually, and I've got to understand how the process works too. And forgive me for not knowing, but basically they come to your website, they go to the special address, or does it automatically detect? All right, they're on a phone. Take them to this website. You can do that in the actual website itself, I think.
Yeah, with the iPod Touch, the iPhone, and the iPad, the Safari browser kind of automatically does some stuff, does some magic around, and make it compatible to the device. I don't know about the other devices, but if I don't know if you've tried it with some of the cell phones we've had a chance to use. Sometimes you'll go to a standard website and it's just this it displays to any website. You got web connectivity and we got a web browser, and it still stinks. When it on the rendering on the phone.
Right.
So that's why I like to definitely have some kind of .mobi entity available for people when they're out running around and they go, oh, we'll just check in with, slick.mobi if I need some information. I want to know what's going on or see what he's up to. Now, honestly, at this point, Twitter's kind of, in a sense, supplanted that service, and maybe some other short blogging websites. I haven't tried Tumblr on a phone. I even haven't tried Twitter on a phone, but I'm assuming that those particular websites will render great on a cell phone. That's my assumption.
Well, it depends. Like if you use TweetDeck, it's a little difficult to fit it into the phone. But Twitter's not bad. I don't like the third party service. I like to go to the web and have that full experience rather than the ones they provide. Like Facebook is, depending on whose service you're using, is never really the same, and that's the whole thing. All right, I want to mention the thing about internet connected TVs, and I think this relates to how we get our news and information now. There's a shift happening, and it's happening rather dramatically. Not only with the connected devices, but also with television news, radio news, and print. And I think, interestingly enough, and I hate to say this because my industry is radio, print is getting it. And print is making great strides and finding ways to reach the people who were subscribing to their newspapers and maybe getting them to subscribe to their web content, or turning it into an advertising-based medium on the web to give them the ability to survive and have people working for them and doing things. And the case in point, And I think this is what we're finding out. And that's why I think people are wanting internet-connected devices like televisions so they can get their information faster. And this is what blows me away, faster than the TV networks can deliver it. TV and radio have always been mediums that beat the newspaper. Why did they beat it? Because they were instant. They were on top of it. They could they could crack the mic open and say, here's what's going on right now.
They were staffed. They were live.
Exactly. They were. Television has gone through the same thing. Broadcasts our news at 12 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, at 4 o'clock. You can walk into a television station. I have. Between those hours, you might find a couple of writers there. That might be it. So my point is, case in point, last night, watching television, and my iPod is sitting next to me, and I picked it up, and I started going through Facebook, and I read someone's profile, and it says on the profile, boy, that quake was strong. And I'm thinking, wow, what quake?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to CNN. I go to CNN. Nothing there. Yeah. They've got some, show that's running, and there's no anchor talking about, well, there was an earthquake in, and I'm looking, and it says just like 14 minutes ago. 14 minutes ago, the big quake, they're in San Francisco. There's going to be some kind of news coverage from the CNN San Francisco or Northern California or California anchor. Nothing. So I go to Fox. Fox has got some talk show on. I go to Headline News. Headline News. No anchor. It's a talk show.
Yep.
Right? And I'm thinking, nobody's delivering the news. Go to my local channels. Nothing. I go to the website, and I decided, all right, let's pull up Fox News online. Nothing on Fox News online. Nothing on CNN online. Went to San Francisco Chronicle, and sure enough, there was the information right there that I needed. The local newspaper on the web providing the information that I needed right there. And what does it say about the print industry? They're getting it. They're realizing stuff has to happen if they want to survive.
Well, now, in my view, I believe that the San Francisco Chronicle has gotten it for quite a long time. So let me just say that about them. In regards to newspapers getting it. Now, when they first came online, they were just putting up, whatever they had in print, they were putting up either some of it or all of it on the internet for free or paid or whatever. And I got that. But then they kind of woke up to it, and then they started updating on their websites too. I have, in my view, in my experience, the newspapers have, in general, tend to beat out radio stations and their radio station websites and television stations and television station websites and I'm talking about broadcast as well as cable and satellite. But like you said, with the news channels that aren't news anymore, because they're not. They're just they cut back just like everybody else. It's rare. It has happened, and it surprised me, but it's rare that like Fox or CNN will go live with something like early morning, because I know when they go live, and I tend to want to turn them on so I can see, all right, what are the top headlines, what's going on today, and then see if maybe I want to follow something later on, throughout the day or throughout that hour or whatever.
Right.
But I remember, like you said, being on air overnight in a radio station here in Tucson. And we had the TV with the cable, with cable television access, and because I always kept switching around just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Something happened, and I caught it, like you said, I caught it on the internet. So I'm like, all right, let me switch over to the one of the channels and see if I could pick up more information. I went to local television stations as well as the national news channels. Nothing. And I waited. I was like, okay, I got to give them a chance to build up some steam. Nothing. I was like, finally, I can't wait any longer. I went on live on the radio station I was on with the news that I got off, and I gave credit to whatever website I was looking at. And it was still hours. They waited, and it was, to me, I wish I could remember what the event was, but to me it was a rather important event that they could have just broke on with a bulletin or something. Right. And they didn't do it. And it was at least 2 hours before anybody came on, and they didn't even lead with it. It was like they led with something from Entertainment Tonight. All right, fine.
Jessica Simpson or something, yeah.
I quit.
I have a lot of respect for the people who do it. I know a lot of the producers in town, and I can imagine that it's got to be tough to carry every story. But at least if something happens like this, that's where people turn to first. They are conditioning us to turn to the net. Yeah. That's the whole point. They're conditioning us to turn to the internet Now,
They are. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. This
one of the groups I work with, they're very good. They're very proactive in using the web, but yet it's a matter of you've got to have the staff, you've got to have the manpower to make it happen, and don't hold back. Jump both feet in. Don't sit there and, well, let's plan this. Are we going to be consistent with it? You know, people don't care. They just want to know. They're going to check you first. If you don't have that information, they're going to go somewhere else. And where are they going to go? They're going to go to they're going to check out the web pages for the newspapers if the newspapers have the content before anybody else. That's what it's all about, content.
Yeah.
Which
it's been going in cycles. I mean, I guess we should have expected this because it's going to come to the internet too, I suppose. I'm supposing it's going to come to the internet eventually. And I'm not talking about crowdsourcing. I'm not talking about people sharing information with the world. I'm talking about organizations sharing information with the world. Right. Started out with, first newspapers were the place to go for information, then radio because of its immediacy, top newspapers. Okay. And then television topped that. And then radio's kind of like, all right, we're just going to cut back. We're going to cut back on people. We're going to cut back on services. We're going to cut back on money. Okay. Then cable came and took over from broadcast television. Now, broadcast television, they gave up. They threw up their hands. Oh, we're going to cut back on services, cut back on paying people, cut back on stuff. Now, what's next is the internet's now doing, is now on the top of this totem pole because now your satellite cable channels are cutting back on services, cutting back, they're just so. I think it's a cycle. I don't know what's after internet, Yeah. That's interesting. What is going to be after internet?
Probably it'll be connected devices to your. But you see, it's all going to be net driven or cloud driven devices. So, you can't wear it on your watch. We've tried that. Remember MSN's watch, the Dick Tracy watch, and they had to deal with Fossil. Do you remember? Come on, I had that.
Stop it. I still have love for my MSN Direct watch. I just recently, it wasn't that long ago that I threw it out.
Wait,
I could not get rid of it.
Do you have a charger?
I tossed the charger too.
I have the watch. I just don't have the charger.
Do you have a square watch?
No, I don't.
Actually, the round one shouldn't matter really. I guess if you can just sit it on top, it should just work.
I don't have that device. You're supposed to sit it on top, and that charges it. But the watch still works. I mean, it's just I don't know if you can get the MSN Direct service now anymore.
The service still exists, barely.
Right.
But as far as I know, it still exists. I know they've been talking about turning it off, but for whatever reason, they haven't thrown the final switch on it yet.
It's sitting in some room in the back on the wall.
I love the MSN watch. I did. Because then that caused me to use the MSN Messenger even more. Because I could get my MSN Messenger messages sent directly to my watch.
Right.
It was great. Well, I had the weather on the watch. It was great. Everything. I loved it.
One of the things that Jessica Corbin told us from CES was the Xbox 360 is going through more changes. She says that we're going to see more, the Kinect device, that's neat, and she was talking to us about that. But we're going to start seeing services on the Xbox 360 connected to the TV. It's going to make it easier for people who want an internet-connected television to have it. I mean, that's what Western Digital's doing now with their WDTV Live, which we have. We've been able to play around with. Again, you've got the Netflix buttons, you got certain buttons, which is kind of cool and everything. I would like a true web experience, which is what you kind of got with the Wii, except it was the Opera browser. It wasn't really my browser of choice. You were kind of stuck with that. But I think we're probably going to see that change. Maybe we'll see that with the Xbox 360.
I think I'm kind of jaded or I just expect too much in the world. So when they announced internet connected TV, I'm going, all right, it should be an internet connected TV. Yeah. It better be. What took you guys so long? But to me, that was a big no-brainer.
Isn't it funny how 3D has not been the big driving for the technology? I mean, people are talking about it, but
it doesn't surprise me because I've never been really all that excited about 3D TV. I'm not sure why. Even though Avatar came out and everybody was screaming about Avatar, I'm in no rush to see Avatar. Give me, you're going to have to put something out there that I really want to see in 3D for me to go and want to watch it in 3D. The glasses, I don't know why people complain about the glasses. The glasses made sense to me. But, some people, I guess, just did not want to wear the glasses. Now they've got some some units out there that they say will give you the 3D experience without the need for glasses. We'll see. You're gonna have to prove it to me.
Right.
It sounds too good to be true. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying, sorry, you guys have burned me before with all these, oh, it's going to be great. I got to see it first before I say that.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is if they have to put a warning out for your kids when you bring a television home, okay, you can only watch it for so long. I'm going to watch it in 3D, and then you got to wonder, okay, how is this going to be? Now, some people have said, what about 3D connected browsers? So, you're looking at your browser and you're using your Kinect and you're pointing your hand and moving, moving this icon here and you're connecting here and then your browser does this thing. Okay, fine. We just want to be able to get the information or do what we need to do on the web. You kind of make it flashier than it is. It's more apt to break.
In the words of Edwin Starr, what is it good for?
Yeah.
Again,
keep it simple.
Show me why I should like it.
Yeah. But, and then the people go, wow, if they would have kept it simple, we never would have gone to the moon. We would have been trying it with a slingshot.
Here's things I just want some people to be wary of with this, which I suspect.
As you rub your eyes.
Yeah. I suspect, and I could be wrong, but I suspect this whole thing about Netflix on television it's hype. And let me tell you why.
Oh, now tell us why.
You still got to prove to me, because no one has, and I'm not picking on Netflix, by the way. I'm picking on any streaming high-definition HD video service. Okay. You still have to prove to me that I'm going to get a great experience, even on my computers. Now keep in mind, I'm using DSL. It's 1.5 megabits download.
Right.
So I still need to be proven that I'm going to get an experience of high-definition video, consistent, no interruptions, no glitches, that I'm going to be happy with. And at the end of watching a video, a movie, whatever, I'm going to go, oh, that was great. Hasn't happened yet. Has not happened yet to me.
I don't know. Because I use Xfinity, which is a Comcast type of service, which I love. However, that's the whole thing, Slick. I think, and I got to remember this. I was out in the garage working. I had one of the computers behind me. It's a Pentium 2.4 with 768 megs and onboard video. And Gloria was working on the other side doing her sewing, and I was here working on the website that I'm going to launch this week. And it's complicated on the screen back there. We wanted to watch the movie and have it on while we were out here. It was pixelated, it was blocky, but again, it was the computer we were running it on. I think if the average public goes out and buys, and we're running through Xfinity, and we have high speed here. If the public is out there and they have a computer that is running 2 gigs or more, pretty good video card or an okay video card, even the chipsets we're seeing on motherboards right now are good. HDMI out, the processors are good. Then I think maybe the experience will be good. We're still this black computer right behind you. That is the multimedia PC, the home theater PC that we've been building. And we'll get to a certain part, and then we run into a roadblock. And we go, for building the HTPC, this is what we need to do. That will give us that high-quality video streamed over the net. Now, if our internet connection burps, or if my daughter fires up her Xbox 360, it may be less than that experience, and we may get that glitch. I don't know if that's going to be possible until we see 4G type speeds or the next generation of that delivered to households as part of a service, like, beyond what we're getting now from the internet.
Right. Now, when you talk about 4G, you talk about wireless service, I'm willing to give because it's not there yet. So I understand that the quality is going to suffer a little bit. I get that. I'm okay with that. You either pay for it or you don't. Make up your mind. Now, but when it comes to internet, hardwired LAN, local area connection with a Cat5 cable, and that kind of stuff from your DSL or from your cable service company, streaming video from a service such as Netflix to a computer. I need to be sure, as this consumer, me, the consumer, from on a 1.5 megabit digital connection. I don't know what the most popular connection is in the United States, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of people who don't have a lot of money. So let's go with, for argument's sake, 1.5 megabits down. Before I'm willing to pay a reasonable amount of money, or the amount of money, let's say, that a streaming service would want me to pay, I want to make sure that my experience is not going to be glitchy. It's going to be high def. What I would like to see, that I can't say that I have seen, And I've even tried this with various services. I just don't think they're doing it, and it could be a lot of reasons they're not doing it. I don't understand why they don't cache. I am willing to wait to have a movie, a very high-def movie, cached to my hard drive, so I can play it back later from the hard drive without any interruptions. Now, and to take the side of, let's say, a streaming service, I think I can understand if they want to make this argument. I understand it. One of their argument could potentially be they're afraid of making it too cached because of piracy issues and stuff like that, and I understand it. I get that.
Yeah.
Because if you have it cached, if the full movie, let's say a high def movie, gets cached to a hard drive, somebody, I'm sure, a lot of people are going to be able to figure out how to get that movie off the hard drive, burn it, and share it. I understand that.
Right.
But until I get that experience of streaming high def, nice, clear, no glitches, no interruptions, to me, it's like, it's a streaming service, and either I'm going to pay a couple of bucks for it or I'm not. I'm not going to pay more than a couple of bucks. Not paying more than a couple.
Yeah, I don't understand. Even the cable company, which was really upset at Netflix, and there was the whole idea, let's block Netflix because people will get, they can't do that. I think even the cable company is charging for their on-demand movies $4.99. For the new movies. Now, on-demand HBO, on-demand Showtime, which we have, we can go online, we can watch a movie that is not too old, something we might even rent at Redbox. And it's free if you pay for their services, and you get the Xfinity. Again, it's free service. If you subscribe to these channels, you can watch content on, you watch content on your PC, your laptop, or your mobile device. You can even, watch it on, your tablet if you've got a tablet. So I think in that respect, it works. But I'm not going to pay $5 for a movie from Blockbuster online to download it and watch it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Since we mentioned this earlier in the program, I'm going to just throw this out real quick, and then we can get back to talking about other stuff.
Oh yeah.
But you had mentioned about the shooting here in Tucson.
Yeah. Did you get any more info on it?
Yeah, it appears a lot of outlets are reporting that it appears that U.S. House Representative Gabrielle Giffords of Arizona was shot.
Oh man!
And condition not immediately known. They took her over to UMC, which is a hospital here in Tucson, Arizona, University Medical Center, and we'll find out more about it later. It looks like, and I'm reading this information comes specifically off the Tucson Weekly website, which is a weekly free local newspaper here in Tucson. Apparently, a guy ran up, was just firing off some shots, and then ran off, but a bystander tackled him. And more details to come.
Wow. Not good.
So I just wanted to give you that quick update there because I was kind of shocked about it myself.
Yeah, that's you can disagree with somebody in their politics, and if you do, vote them out. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But wow. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that as well. And I don't know, for those of us that are watching in the Tucson area, watching our cast, we'll try and again keep you posted on that. Again, this is an instance where, all right. So we got the first word from KOLD via Twitter, and I don't know if they're covering that nonstop right now. I don't have a TV here in the studio that we can actually pop it on and watch.
KOLD on their Twitter account, they did say what they're going to try and do is get a stream up on their website.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that idea too. I like that idea of television now having these websites and these HD channels that they can put content on. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Boy, crazy.
since we're talking about that, and you may or may not have an opinion or even thoughts on this, but let me just throw it out there just to see if I can stoke your fire. So towards the end of the year, I've been reading news reports, and some actions have been taken about satellite and cable service providers backing off of some channels and services and things like that. And I'm trying to remember what started. The one I remember that really made me pay attention was when DirecTV dropped G4. Now, my opinion is no loss. I'm not anti-G4. I'm just saying that I remember ZDTV, ZDNet TV, and Tech TV, and they served their audience, their community, and their demographic. G4 came on, took them over, which is the way economics goes. But then G4, and I don't want to blame it. It is my opinion. I don't want to blame everybody over G4. I actually do blame one top guy at G4. They just became like any other cable satellite channel where, oh, we'll give you a little bit of tech, a little bit of gaming information, but then we're going to play all this other stuff to fill the void.
Right.
All right, then why do I even need to be loyal to you? So I guess G4 and DirecTV got into a little spat. DirecTV pulled them off. I don't miss them. G4 was going, oh, tell DirecTV you don't want us to go away. I don't care. You didn't do anything. What they were doing on Attack of the Show and there's some of the other shows, I can get off the net on some other video services and other websites. I don't need Attack of the Show. I don't need XPlay. I don't need G4. Sorry, I don't. I did like the fact that they were playing Heroes, the television show back. But other than that, I don't really need you. What else has happened? Okay, then I guess, for the sake of just throwing it out there, Discovery Health, I guess, has become the own channel, Oprah Winfrey Network. Have you had a chance to check that out?
No, I haven't. And we have that, but I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
I actually, I'm probably not going to watch a lot of it. I do respect, at least what I've seen so far, what they're doing with that channel. I mean, she's going to serve her audience. Good for her. Good for her. She got they're doing Dr. Phil replays and all kinds of stuff. So good for her. I think it was a good call.
Well, I think, and hopefully she'll develop programs that she'll develop the programs that people will keep coming back and watching. I mean, we're seeing one of the channels that blows me away is HGTV, Home and Garden Television, the Food Channel. They're always putting new programs on that are, they're great, giving people a chance. A&E and Bravo, they're all putting shows on that people come back and watch. That the original network stations, CBS, NBC, ABC, are sticking with the same shows.
No, and good for these channels like the HGTV, like you said. I mean, they're serving their audience. They're trying to serve the audience. They're trying to super serve the audience. Good for them. I hope they're successful. I hope they don't go away. I hope they last and are successful and make some money. But then you have other channels out there. Do they escape? Well, the one that is on top of my mind, just popped in my mind at the moment, that has disappointed me so.
Which one?
Greatly disappointed me so. Is Current TV.
Yeah. They could have done so much with that.
They were so when they came out and it was like, we're turning the channel over to you. You produce the videos and we'll run them like pods and pod. It was, in a sense, it was like, small snippets, podcasts, 5, 10, 15-minute programs that you and I would put together. We send them the video and they just run it constantly around. I had a lot of respect for them for doing that. And they did some of their own, in-house production and stuff. I miss that. I miss seeing stuff produced by other people, but where I could just turn on that TV channel and leave it on in the background, like we used to be able to do with CNN headline news.
Oh, yeah. You can always look up and see what the most recent story is across the country. Yeah, exactly. I hear you. And I think that's television. That's going to be television's undoing if they don't just create some good programs, create programs that people want to watch, and not worry. I don't know. I mean, it frustrates me because we're seeing a lot of content going to the web and not on, local television shows. And I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm going to start a new.
Why don't we have a tech channel, Slick? Why don't we have a tech channel? We've got food. We've got outdoor. We've got, we don't have a tech channel because the guys that run the tech TV, Comcast, all right, they think it's more important to titillate the man and show, rated A for adults, or, show these whatever shows they have on that really don't deal with tech. There are so many different programs they could have.
Yeah, they're trying to placate to the lowest common denominator, and I get it, but you got to make up your mind. Either you're gonna, don't try to pretend like you're still what you were. Just go, oh, we've given up. Just admit it. We've given up, and we're going to do that. What was the other channel? Oh, I was thinking about maybe we should come up with a new phrase or a new label or that we could put on people like, oh, you're pulling an MTV.
Oh,
remember MTV?
Oh, yeah.
That still bugs me. The fact that they're still using MTV.
Yeah, why did they change it? Call it YTV. Huh? YTV for youth. Yeah, my kids watch that, and I think, wait a minute. I remember I used to watch videos on here that were slick, well produced. They were fun to watch, and they were creative.
I didn't watch the bad videos.
Yeah, those were even more fun, I think. Lordy. I mean,
It's
think
not
about
like they couldn't. It's not like they couldn't have gone to independent musicians and put their videos on, like OK Go.
right. But are you making enough money? You know, it's all about it's time spent watching TSW. At radio, it's called TSL, time spent listening. You know, are you 3-minute videos? People watch a couple of videos and then tune out. They don't. You know, you could have it in the background. So I guess they decided long form programming is going to work better than short form. That's why I say, why can't we have something like that on a tech channel? Why can't we create something like that? They've even done shows. They've done shows on the Science Channel with David Pogue and some of these other guys. I'm sure all of them would want to develop a show. I'm sure Leo would like to develop a show. Why not have Leo's cast, have our webcast, have any of the other guys that are out there on a network that people could watch?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. There was I don't know if you remember, but that's an idea that happened. I guess it's a long time ago now. Remember, there was a radio station in San Francisco that went. I mean, literally all podcasts. Remember that?
It was CBS. Well, was it all podcasts? Was it CBS? Are you thinking of CNET?
No. This was after CNET had, because it started out like CNET Radio, and then CNET Radio went away, and then there was a lull. But then another radio station tried it. Give them all the credit for giving it a shot, but they went all podcasts,
right?
And they just rotated around like Current TV did. It didn't last, but they tried, you know, and I give them all the credit for trying. I mean, you got to give it a shot. But here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. So get ready for it.
All right.
Because I mean they've already talked about it, and I know it's coming. I can see the train. I can see the train. With these internet connected televisions, the cable and satellite channels and services are already complaining that, hey, wait a minute, it's going to you're taking our viewers away from our service, and oh, hold on a minute there. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this plays out. Because I think there's a chance, because just like cable took viewers away from broadcast television took people away from, broadcast radio, kind of, doing that. I think it's coming. I see the train coming.
Yeah.
And companies that are providing internet access, and I'm not picking on anybody, I'm just saying in general, like Comcast, like Time Warner, I'm trying to think of another big one, but I can't think of it. Well, Quest is probably going to get in the mix here in a bit. They're talking about now
Verizon,
yeah, trying to figure out a way that if you to get some money off of the people that they're going to lose. So if they lose people from the cable and satellite programming and channels to streaming internet services, they're trying to figure out a way to try to get some money from either the content providers as well as the viewers on the internet because they lost their money on their satellite and cable services. They're already talking about how to figuring out how to try to do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
man.
this open internet that's supposed to be a public service, public channel, was built for the public, intended for the public, designed with openness in mind. Now they're going to try to start closing the doors on it.
Well, isn't that kind of what the whole net neutrality thing was about? I mean, hey, listen, you guys can't control, just because you're providing the pipe doesn't mean you can control necessarily what is available.
Yeah, and maybe I have what I think to be a too easy answer in regards to that, because the internet service providers are saying, hey, you're chewing up too much bandwidth and stuff like that. Well, I got the answer, which is the answer that these internet service providers had given in the past, but I'm sure they don't want to say it out loud now, which is, well, maybe we should start charging you for the amount of service that you're getting. So if you're a heavy downloader, maybe we should charge you more than we charge this other customer over here.
Right.
That's what they don't want to say, but they had said it in the past. They have.
Oh yeah. And they put different price structures on, depending on, hey, if you want to go over this amount of gigabytes per month, here's what you're going to pay.
Mm-hmm. And they don't want to say it out loud in the future, but they're already still currently saying it. If you read your fine print, everybody, on your internet service paperwork, they will say that if they feel that you're taking up too much bandwidth or too much service or too much whatever, there's a statement in there, look and find it, that they might take you up to the next tier or charge you more or cut you off.
Yeah, I forget the term that they have. It's a usage term or something along that line, which they can, And if most people found, their limitations were reasonable. Mm-hmm. The person that they were going to be tapping is the guy who's running a server out of his house that's getting a lot of hits. From what I understand, you're really not even supposed to run a server, based on how your internet provider, you run a server, you're breaking their policy.
The
web
user
server.
agreement says most of them say no servers. No,
right.
No.
Because they don't want you to set up a web server. But come on, if you have a web server and maybe you get 20, 30 hits per month, you're not, or even a week, you're not tapping it. But that's why they blocked a lot of that. Some were blocking FTP for a while. I remember that from a few years ago. So
now, I was just going to say, since we live in a capitalistic society, which we do, I think it is fair. And I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying I believe it is fair for the internet service providers to say, we're going to start gauging. So if you take what we consider too much, you're going to pay an extra charge. To me, okay, that's fair. Solution, hopefully, if possible, change internet service providers. One of them captured, go to somebody else. Just go, all right, fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to use you.
Go to somebody else who's not going to put those limitations on. And it's called, I want to thank Tom in the chat who actually corrected it. It's fair usage policy. That's the term, Tom. Fair usage policy. And, that is going to affect a lot of the way, if there were these limitations on there, that we could experience it. We'd be experiencing it based on what that internet provider wanted us to experience. And that's certainly not what we want.
We claim to let the free market rule, then let it rule on. Just let it roll and rule.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Charge accordingly.
At some point, though, the internet is going to be just like the telephone utility for most, if not all, people. So we gotta figure out, and I guess for lack of better terminology, something to make it much as clear as I want to make it, the poor people. We need to make sure that the poor people, like they have the poor people telephone service, we need a poor people internet service. And they just have to understand, listen, you can't afford to go nuts.
Right.
You got access to the internet. It's basic access. Don't expect, so if you try to do more than what is fair to use the internet as a service utility, then either we're going to have to charge you more or cut you off, something like that. So
kind of like a lifeline service, like they have for the phone companies, and the gas companies, and I think power companies even offer that as well.
Yeah, so let's develop that for the internet. In a sense, we have it for wireless telephone service. You've got those prepaid services. Those are like lifeline wireless services for poor people.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about probably one of the biggest stories this week. And it gets right back. It goes full circle right back to our story about the news media, and which one is ruling. Is it radio, television, or print? And I thought it was very funny how the biggest story this week, obviously, about Ted Williams, the homeless gentleman who was standing on a corner, who had been in radio, was holding up a sign and said, basically, ex-radio guy, looking for a hand, greatly appreciated. And some newspaper reporter who shoots video that goes on the web station, or the web station. It goes on the website for the news media's paper. Shot this video, and they put new video up there all the time. He almost said, "Hey, it almost never even made it." He actually shot the video like 5 weeks ago. And
I remember.
A slow news day decided, let's go ahead and get this video up there. And within a day, it went to 5 million views. One day. Some people jumped in and saw it, number 60, number 70, number 80. 5 million views. What does that tell you? The people out there clamoring for content. They see the story about this guy. And no matter how you feel in your faith, you may say it's the power of God. Or it may be the power, also people are saying it's the power of the internet. And it is. What does it tell you? The internet captures it. But funny, the people that are taking claim for it have been radio. They're saying, we helped him get a job. We had him on the studio the next day, and we got him a job. I think everybody working hand in hand has helped this guy out.
Yeah, we'll talk about the professional broadcasting companies and
Yeah.
in a moment, but in regards to Ted Williams, the guy who was homeless disc jockey. Now I became aware of the video on the videographer's personal YouTube account because he put it there first, and then like you said, it wound up on his newspaper's newspaper, right? Is a newspaper or television station he worked at?
He was a newspaper. It was a Cleveland. Is it Cleveland Dispatch?
Yeah, probably because it's just outside of Columbus, right?
Yeah.
So then, like you said, it wound up on the newspaper's website, and then it got hits and picked up. And I was one of the commenters on it when I first saw it. I made a comment. I said, I feel sorry for the guy. I can relate. Being in radio, also having been homeless, and I said, I really hope somebody helps this guy. I don't want to see anybody, whether it be Ted Williams or disc jockey, anybody. I really don't want to see anybody homeless. It is, man. I don't wish that. I can't think of anybody I would wish that on. So like you said, it blew up. He started getting help. When he started to get help, I'm like, all right, good for him. Then he started to get more help, and that's when I became concerned. That's when I became concerned because I knew what was happening. And you and I both knew what was happening because we've worked in radio.
Oh yeah.
They were using him. And when I say they, I mean people that could have helped him in the past probably turned their head and ignored him intentionally until they saw the train coming by and they wanted to jump on the train.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to ride him out. Now, I don't necessarily blame anybody for jumping on this train. I really don't. But at the same time, I do condemn them for not, at the beginning, when they saw him the first time, when they knew he existed or even somebody else existed, they didn't help. I do condemn them for that.
Yeah. For
not serving their community and not serving the public. But now, and now other commentators are catching up on something that I was concerned about some days ago. I'm really worried about this. I seriously am.
What's that?
If you know anything about Ted Williams' past history,
yeah,
and we've all made mistakes, we all have our problems.
Yes.
But he's one of the guys that had some legal issues in the past, as well as drug issues.
Right.
Been homeless. Okay, he's got some help. Got him cleaned up. They're helping him get on his feet. It's cool. Got him a house. Doesn't have to pay mortgage. I'm jealous, but okay. I get it. Good for Ted. Good for Ted. I'm a cheerleader. Good for Ted.
Right.
Good for Ted.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm not against Ted Williams. But now, if you watch the video as days progress, just video from anywhere, from the internet, from television stations, from cable satellite and satellite television stations and news programs, watch his face. Look at him. The pressure is beginning to mount. Yeah. First he got off the street. He was happy. He was thankful. He saw his mother. He hadn't seen his mother in, one report said, 20 years.
Right.
Hadn't seen his kids, and he's again another similarity to me. He's got 9 kids. And hasn't seen his kids, hasn't seen his grandkids since who knows when.
Well, from what stories, he's grown up. The kids are grown up. They're not, they're not like 10 and 11. Yeah.
Right. But he's reconnecting with his family. I'm still happy for him, still rooting for him. But if you watch him, you can see him on the early show programs, the morning show programs on the networks, on the late night television shows. You can see him on all the entertainment television shows. The pressure is starting to build on his face, man. I see it. He's starting to get overwhelmed, and I'm scared. I'm scared for him.
Yeah, one of the talk shows, he was talking about how they actually have given him a therapist to work with. Because the last thing they want is, somebody goes off drugs, they either die, when they're hooked on crack, they either die, they run out of money, and they kick it, or they go through a program. And he's been through many different programs, according to his interviews on television. And he says, 2 years clean now, and that's good. My concern is he going to remain that when the money starts flowing in? It's nice to have the money. I mean, money, is the root of all evil. You can get nice things with it. You can do good things for people. I have a feeling, and his heart tells me, and especially the words that come out of his mouth, tells me he will help other people. Will those people that are around him keep him away from drugs? It's that's the hardest thing for somebody who's an ex-addict or an addict. Yeah, I guess it's like somebody who's addicted to alcohol. You say I'm an alcoholic, they're always an alcoholic. Will they keep that source away from him? Because the money, I think. Money's not really that good to be an announcer. I think it can pay anywhere from $500 to $200, per game, depending on the team. but they're giving him a house. They're obviously going to be paying him more. He's getting voice work for craft. That can be $100 per pop.
And I have been in contact. He's got representation now too.
Yeah.
So there's a guy like a manager who I've been in contact with. So he's got somebody that's going to keep trying to get him work, which is good.
Trust me.
But I'm with you.
I'll be honest with you. I did send a note, and I did ask, what's your rate? Single page, 10-liners, dry, just to see. I haven't heard anything back. So if the guy's charging 100, 150, sure, why not? I think it'd be great. He's got great pipes. He would be a great voice, and it'd be fun for us to say, yeah, this is Ted Williams. The guy from the internet, made popular from the internet. Now, we'd never heard the guy before because I've never got a demo tape. You see how that works? I mean, so yes, radio needs to start looking after its own. Radio should be smacked on the hand for this. And not just this. I wonder, and I read something on Radio Info. Are they following EOE guidelines? FCC EOE guidelines are that they have to post it on the website. They have to post it in third-party places whenever they have a position. If they are creating a position now and Mr. Williams decides not to take it, that position needs to be filled. You don't just close it. If you don't, you're people get fined for this stuff from the FCC. So start creating positions. Start cutting the salaries of these CEOs that are making, all right, Ryan Seacrest, nothing against the guy. He's talented, whether you like him or not, making $20 million a year. Does the guy need to make $20 million a year? Would he not be happy making $3 million a year and $17 million of that going to pay for jocks around the country so that they can create a local feel for a station and get it away from this whole national thing?
Yeah.
I might be talking out of my ass, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah, with the whole Ryan Seacrest thing, let me just quickly say, and I'll get away from him. I respect him for being successful. Is he worth the $20 million a year? My opinion, absolutely not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I think people are making too big of a deal out of this guy. So that's my take on Ryan Seacrest. Back to Ted Williams. Here's what I know is going to happen, Andy, and because there are jerks out there that they're just somebody's going to do this, man. They're going to get him. Ted Williams is not necessarily going to be pushed in a corner, but he's going to be in a place where he thinks he's safe, whether physically and mentally and emotionally, and somebody's going to offer him something.
Yeah, that sucks.
Just to either test him or take him down, or so they can make a story out of it. Somebody. So he needs a good team around him, and I hope. That team is, like you said, his family. I hope it's his family and his therapist or whatever, man. I don't want to see him relapse. Like you said, I guess, according to Ted Williams, I guess he said, he's been on and off drugs, but he's counting the last time that he was on drugs was what, 2.5 months ago, he said, was his last time that he's been able to count
I thought he
forward.
said 2 years. He said clean 2 years in that street interview, but, I hope that's the
I think
case.
you're right. No, you're right. 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You're right. So, I'm hoping, man, I'm just hoping. I want people around him that even if there's a temptation, they can go, listen, Ted, we can't let you do it. We can't let you go back.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you go back. We're here to help you.
Well, it depends. Again, I think it also depends. And again, this is depending on what you believe in, his faith. If and as he said, the God that he acknowledges, if he believes strongly enough, he will have that resolve to not go back to that. Now, there are some people who say, "Oh, he's a fraud because he did drugs and he did crime." Yeah, he admitted that right off the start. Yeah, I mean, he said it right off the start. Hey, listen, this is me. This is who I am. And it's about people getting a chance. It's about people getting redemption. And the story has made me very happy, but it's also made me take a good look at news and how we get it, information and how we get it, from the standpoint of the internet. Where has this played? This has played a major role in this. Now, my other concern is this story going to be, I was watching Larry Sanders. Larry Sanders is on IFC now. Love that show.
Right.
And there was a scene where Vince Vaughn was a guest on the show. And Hank Kingsley, and for those of you who know Hank is kind of a blowhard, is talking to Vince Vaughn and says something. And he turns to me and said, "You're just a flash in the pan. You're yesterday's news." And I'm wondering, is the same thing going to happen to Ted Williams? He's definitely talented, but he will just disappear. And people might wonder 5 years from now or 3 years from now, whatever to that guy. And will he still be working?
Some traction like Snooki.
Yeah. Happens to child stars all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where'd they go? Oh, and then you see that child star, you go, oh, they look different. They don't look like that cute little kid anymore. The kid.
And I had thought about that too.
Yeah.
I thought about people that we're familiar with, like Danny Bottaducci, who actually made it successful. He's had some rough roads. He's had some problems. He's fallen back. He's had some problems.
Right.
He comes in and got back in the radio, and more problems. Back in the radio, more problems. Gary Coleman, I was familiar with him being used by radio because of his name, as well as I was very familiar with Jessica
Hahn. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
I worked with her at Y95 in Phoenix, and she and I talked. She really thought, she truly believed she was going to get a break and get to try have a new career in radio and put all that, a whole Jim Baker and all that other stuff behind her. She really believed it.
Right. But
got her feelings hurt.
Can you fault radio though? Can you fault any employer that is going to hire somebody? People say, oh, he shouldn't have got a job. You know what? Okay. What can he do for the station? And I think I posted this on RDub's Why Radio Sucks blog, which is really a good blog. The question is, what can he do for the station? Anytime you hire somebody, whether you're running a fast food joint, a candy shop, an ice cream store, a radio station, a TV station, what can that talent do for me?
Yeah,
when you hire a talent, you expect them to go above and beyond now. You don't just go into a radio station now and crack open the mic and do a show. It's what do you do after the show? What do you do before the show? Do you use the internet to reach out to listeners? Do you help around the station? Do you do production? Do this guy is going to bring people that will check out the station, whatever station he's working at, or check out the product. Tomorrow night he'll be the voice of Kraft during the I think it's a help the homeless game that's going to be on for basketball.
Is it today?
No, I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? I don't know. We'll check the listings on that. Yeah. But he'll be the voice of that, and he'll be the voice for Kraft as well. So every time you hear that commercial, you think, "Oh, that's cool. They hired that guy, and he's got a great voice." I don't know if you saw it on the Today Show where he took his residence all the way down, and it sounded like James Earl Jones. It was like it was great. They found the next Darth Vader.
Yeah. I'm not against agencies and radio stations or whatever taking advantage of the situation. However, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Don't abuse him. Don't just go, well, we're done with you. We're just going to throw you away now. Get out. That's all you were good for. Don't do that to a person, whether it be Terry Williams or anybody else. Just don't do that. Stop it. It's not right.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And
make it clear to him. Make him clear that he's being used. Go, listen, no offense, but you're hot right now. We want the hot to be associated with the hot thing, and you're the hot thing. Make it clear. Just be honest.
Right. Well, take a look at Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You think, what? Huh? Where does that come from? Ben's working, but who's getting the jobs? Who's getting the roles? Matt Damon. He's hotter. It's one of those things. Oh, they went with this celebrity because of this. I still think I still have a feeling I could lose out my TV gig. That's going to come up because I'll find somebody who's a little more available, and a little, you know what I mean? It's a more name that's happening. It could happen. Yeah. So, Ted Williams will get my job.
Ooh.
Let's ride over here.
You better hope they never find out he can ride a motorcycle.
Oh. Anyway, so all right.
Well, we'll see what else is next. After we get with the Jersey Shore and Ted Williams, what do you think is next?
Boy, who knows? I mean, I think this was a surprise. I don't think they thought it was going to get the kind of exposure that it did. So what would be next? What will be next? Stephen Haywood. That's it right there. That guy's going to be next.
That would be interesting because did you see that he touched Leo and the world did not explode?
All I saw was a still picture. We were watching, was it Friday night, Gloria? Yeah, we were watching Friday night here in the studio. And it was a little uncomfortable because the Showstoppers works so much better when you're broadcasting from the table booths. And Steve Leone from Showstoppers always, kind of set that up for us in the past, but obviously not going. We don't have that. And this is Haywood's first time going to Showstoppers, but it always worked better. And then we'd have somebody go out, get people, bring them back to the table, and they did a very good job at that. And we had some great interviews. It always worked better that way. But the people were almost confrontational to him. Did you notice that? I don't know if you saw that, but it seemed to me like they were almost, he'd walk up with his camera and his crew, and he's broadcasting live on the internet with the iPack or the pack that's on his back, and I just thought, that's really cool. But the people were almost a little taken aback by it. They didn't know how to respond to it. And I felt uncomfortable for him.
There was a video somewhere of when he met Leo. It was just, and it turns out,
I've got to see that.
I assume you haven't seen the video. Leo knew who he was.
Well, of course.
So even Steve said, "You know who I am?" And he goes, and Leo says, "Yeah, you're the guy trying to take my job." And so they did a little dueling microphones.
Yeah.
And but and I always pick on Steve Haywood of the Tech Buzz. I've always picked on Steve, saying he's had a man crush on Leo Laporte from Twit. And I think it's getting to the point now to where he's had enough of hearing that from me, because I can see him starting to bristle a little bit. But I said that, don't get all nervous, and you know how I am, like I am when around Cat Schwartz, So
Oh yeah.
So, but it was if you ever get a chance, see if you can catch the video. It's interesting because they kind of walk to each other. All we need to do is play some like love theme music up under it and slow it down a little bit. It'll be great.
Was it kind of like when I met Scott Kelby? You're in an interview with the guy.
Yeah, like you and Scott Kelby, just like that.
Oh man, well, I've had Leo on the show a couple of times, and he's a great guest. And I think it would be fun to shake the guy's hand. But I saw a couple of still shots, and one of them was, it looked like Leo was showing him tamales.
There was some food. Yeah, there was some food involved where they were talking about something, and Steve looked down, and Leo said, "Yeah, you want to stay away from this, whatever the food was." He said, because it was fattening, probably, or whatever. Yeah, is what he was saying. But
that's pretty cool. Was he interested? I don't know. I didn't see the clip, in what equipment that Steve was using to broadcast from around.
No, and only because I know that they both got equipment from the same company. But they got different units.
Right.
The one Leo has is the high def unit, and the one that Steve has is standard.
Well, the stuff looked good. Like I said, that was a little, for me watching it, I was like, oh God, that guy wasn't very nice to him. And he'd get in there and do the interviews. And it's hard. It's hard if you're walking around. It is hard to get stuff. You just have to walk up, and to do it live is even rougher. If you just walk up, you say, "Hey, listen, we'd like to record interviews." We've done that process before too, but it does work better if you have a booth set up. Now, it does look like he did get the people at CEA did give him a section where he could broadcast from, and it had his banner up like they've done with us, which is cool.
Yeah, what the section that he used. Now, we were offered an NBC, but I don't know if you're familiar with the whole NBC stuff they got over the NBC Universal.
Right.
But they offered their whole stage to bloggers and broadcasters and stuff like that, and then they offered it to us too. Had we been there, we were going to be able to use their equipment as well.
Yeah.
But what Steve got from CEA at the CES, the actual organization that runs CES, it almost looked like to me, and this is the best way I can describe everybody. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying this is the best way to describe it. It looked like a storage container that you see on a dock, on a loading dock, on a shipping dock.
Yeah, it did.
But it was all black. And
I didn't see any windows.
Yeah, it wasn't like a couple of years ago, like they set up for us, where they were booths. They were like little interview booths. As if you were interviewing somebody for a job, and we had glass windows, and there were like 5 or 6 of them set up side by side. That's not what they gave him this year. It's like a shipping container.
Yeah,
that was all black outside and black inside, with a red light on the outside to let you know that they were recording or broadcasting. Which was, I mean, if that kind of setup works for you, that's great. But I don't know. I kind of miss the openness for me.
Yeah, I always thought it was fun to see people from. I think we were next to CNN 2 years ago. It was always fun to see those people walk by, and they always peek their head in. It was kind of cool. But
CNET had their usual setup in that big corner, like they've had for, I guess, the years we're familiar with being involved in CES. They always had that one corner where I got to meet Brian Tong and stuff like that.
Right.
They were set up again with a nice stage and everything. Man, that's nice.
I actually have pictures from, and I put these up on the website, from when I used to go to Comdex, and Tech TV it was actually ZD TV at the time. You remember that? And Ziff Davis Television, and they had a booth set up, and they had TV cameras and a stage and everything else. at Comdex, and that was a blast to see. But yeah, they've always had killer booths, and they spent a lot. NBC spent a lot of money on their booth, but they're pushing their content online, their online content right now.
Yeah, it was interesting because before they were trying to keep it all to themselves, like NBC, MSNBC, all their other cable channels and services and programs. I was kind of surprised when they opened it up to us. So maybe they weren't getting as much use out of it as they thought. Because even I remember Brian, what the guy who does nightly news.
Brian Williams was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did his nightly news broadcast from there.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. I don't know if you caught any of some of the hardware announcements and software announcements that have been coming out, but it's been pretty amazing. I mean, they've had quite a few announcements that have been coming down the pike through the day, and they do it and if you're not subscribed to it, you go to the actual official website and sign up for the announcements for CES. The world's powerful tiny computer unveiled at CES called the Cosmos. Have you heard about this?
No, can't say I have. No.
Yeah, apparently, let's see if we can pull up this information here. And you can go to, here's one place you can go to, news.vpoinc.com. And then it's page, this /page/2011 CES. And I'll put this in the chat so that way you can actually take a look at it here. There you go. If you want to see that, put that link in the chat, and that should get you there you go. That's a link, and you can check out some of the different hardware products rather than us go down the laundry list of what's available. But I mean, just some of the different things. Rhapsody, Polaroid. Polaroid did a big thing with Lady Gaga, I guess.
And yeah.
I saw some
They've
of
got
that.
some kind of promotion thing going on.
Yeah. Netflix, YouTube, Hulu Plus, Scream on Google TV, Apple TV, and Roku. You can see that. But they have all the different headlines from the days that are out there. And they plan it. They say, okay, today we're going to release this. And if you go to the press center, like the first day, you don't go back. You're going to miss out on some other cool things too. So, kind of cool.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else going on at CES because, like I said, I always figured I'd just wait.
Yeah,
we'll let everybody calm down.
We'll
gather themselves.
We'll get the rundown probably next week as people get out. They can unwind. But then there's another conference. There's another tech conference taking place next week, too. So I think January is like the time of the year. You have the Storage Visions before CES, then you had CES, and then there's some other ones going on as well.
Well, I was aware of, which I wasn't, I'm still not sure how closely I'm going to follow it. But I knew that NAMM was coming up pretty soon, if not immediately following CES, which I believe stands for North American Music Merchant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is music and musical instruments and sheet music and publishing and all that kind of stuff. Hardware, software, all that stuff. Performance artists, everything.
A lot of companies out there displaying stuff.
Yeah. But then someone reminded me, was it yesterday, the day before yesterday, that South by Southwest is coming up. And I went, oh, whoa, okay.
I thought that was in May.
Well, I have to double check. It might even be in April.
Ooh.
But the way they said it, I'm like, already?
Yeah.
I
really want to
maybe February.
I want to go to that. That'd be a blast.
I do too. I really do. Where is it? Aspen, right? Aspen, Colorado?
No. Austin, Texas.
What's in Aspen? It's the film thing. It's the independent film. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a fun one to go to as well. Yeah,
It's
no.
not South by Southwest.
South by Southwest is Austin, Texas, I believe.
Right. That's mostly music.
Yeah.
But the Aspen thing is the independent filmmakers. I can't remember what the name of the conference is, but yeah. I want to go, but it's cold.
Maybe the TV project will get kicking, and then I can actually talk them into doing a segment there at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Here's something that I don't know if you're aware of, and I don't have all the details. But if you want it, you can find it. Maybe even check. I'm going to have to check my Twitter account, but I'll bet you I posted a link to the document. Okay. But are you aware that let me see, make sure I get the right department. Well, I don't have the department in front of me. Anyway, the U.S. government. Are you aware that the U.S. government has subpoenaed Twitter, and apparently it looks like they've even sent a request to Google and Facebook in regards to WikiLeaks.
Really?
They want specifically. There is actually, if you search around, there's actually a copy, a PDF of the subpoena from the government to Twitter available on the internet. But what they want from Twitter, which is it kind of bothers me, just bothers me. They want Twitter to give them information in regards to Twitter accounts relating to WikiLeaks, members of WikiLeaks, probably even sympathizers to WikiLeaks. They want email addresses. If they have them, they want physical addresses. They want as whatever they can get.
Wow, that's not cool. And whether you sympathize with WikiLeaks or not, whether you think they're an anti-government organization, or whether the guy's not even from our country, that's fine. But when you start subpoenaing people who visit a website or follow a Twitter post, you have no idea what reason they're following it. Yeah. That's
because I'm concerned, because I am in support of WikiLeaks. Now, we can debate in another conversation whether what they released and specifically whether it's correct or not. However, the generality of sharing information to the public that the public should have a right to, I'm in support of WikiLeaks. Just with that wide general statement. And again, we can debate specifics later.
Yeah, I go with that whole loose lips sink ships idea.
I understand. I do understand that, but there's some things I think we have the right to.
But I don't think so. I don't know. But again, we won't get in that argument because that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
All right, I got to tell you about some of the cool things that we got going on. We've been building this multimedia PC back here, and here's what we ran into. And over the holidays, we continued to build it. One of the things we needed to get past with Windows, we're running Windows 7 Ultimate 64. The people at Microsoft gave us another license for 32-bit, but it didn't really make a difference because what we were trying to do. Oh, Lordy. Really? Any word on her condition? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm still checking myself.
Yeah, but is she?
Not that I'm aware of. There's gossip, and that's why I haven't said
Where
anything.
did you get the source from? Yeah, Gloria is saying that she just handed me a note saying Gabrielle Giffords was shot in the head.
Oh, that I knew.
Okay, and that she has. But are they actually officially calling her that she has passed away?
I can't find a reasonable source to say that. Not a reasonable one.
I think it's probably what they're doing right now is trying to get the information from the news press. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, most of what I'm seeing is it's just people just spouting off, and I don't trust them.
She was, and I know she was making. There are 4 dead, at least 7 injured at the Safeway on Ina and Oracle, which is probably about maybe 15 minutes from here. Yeah,
there could be at least 4 dead. I read a what I would consider a reasonable report that there were 5, so at least 4. Yeah.
Okay, and coverage. Let's see. It's UMC has confirmed that 4 have died from the shooting, but they're not saying if one of those is indeed Gabrielle Giffords, who is a congresswoman, excuse me, and she was shot at a Congress on your corner. Her husband is an astronaut. Former astronaut.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and veteran, military service, and she was just reelected here?
Yeah,
as well?
yes, she was.
Well, so we don't have. Gloria's saying it's on MSN, but it's not
now
on
here,
our
yeah,
local
I'm
station
looking
yet.
at Twitter, and someone is stating that, and I have not confirmed this, but we'll just go with it for a moment. According to one Twitter post, Fox and NPR are confirming that she has died, and there's a post. Yeah, NPR is reporting that she has died.
Yeah, Representative on MSNBC. It says Representative Gabrielle Giffords of Arizona dies after being shot. Wow.
Yeah, shot.
I'm getting a post here from Wireless. I don't know. Yeah, here in Tucson. Where? Sorry, it's like covering your face there.
That's
well,
right.
that's Mark Kelly is her husband. She's 40 years old. She took office in January 2007. And it's interesting because last night I received a Twitter that she was going to be there. And I remember thinking in my head, it's always never really that great to say where our elected officials, but this is an event called Congress on the Corner. And this is where that happened. This has happened at. Just tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic. And for those of us here in Arizona, this is something, no matter what political party you have, we really don't want.
Yeah,
So.
things, it's okay to be passionate, but then, when we get to stuff like this, it's just out of hand. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for passing that along, and if that does change, but that is the word from MSNBC that Gabrielle Giffords has indeed passed, has been killed by a gunman's bullet. Congresswoman for the United States of America. All right, back here on this computer right here, and one of the problems we were running into is if you're trying to install Windows 7 Media Center on a PC, one of the problems you're going to run into is an IRDA device. You need to have a remote control device to be able to control your television, change the channel out, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did.
Well, let me pause you there. Let me stop you there for a minute. Can we potentially substitute an RF remote?
Well, that's what I thought. And I purchased this device from SWS Computers. I went in there on Christmas Eve at 2:58. They closed at Christmas Eve at 3 o'clock. They wanted me out the door as fast as possible. So I bought this. It's from a company called SIIG, SYBA. It's an RF.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Andy Taylor.
No, that guy wanted me out, and I didn't pull that. And it was like $17. So I thought, you know what? I'll try it. We'll see if this works. I really want to get this thing working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're running a Comcast DTA box, which you change the channels with your remote, you want to also be able to change the channels on your tuner for the computer. You have a TV tuner where we're using a USB device from Elgato called the ITV, which is popular with Mac users and with Windows users. So you plug this device in. Now, the problem is there's no other device. There should be one on the TV card, but there isn't to plug in the DTA box. So this really served us no purpose whatsoever. This is good if you want to transfer your phone photos to your computer easily, via Bluetooth. You can use this infrared device. So we spent $17. I never took it back within the 10 days. So now I'm going to try and sell it on eBay. What you can get, and you can get it from Microsoft too, is an official Windows Media Center remote. And it actually has a Windows Media Center logo in the middle of it. And it will have the IR device, which goes on the top of your computer. Or you can, build it into the computer. And then it has a plug that'll go out to your cable box, so you can change the channel on your cable box, all done with the Windows Media Center PC device. Those run about $30. Not too bad. $30, $34, and you can find them online. So that's one hurdle we have to overcome. We haven't done that one yet. Okay. The other hurdle was HDMI. Intel sent us over a board to put together. It was the DH57DD. I say for Dave Petrie. And great board, HDMI out, DVI out. Board sells for about $100, $125, right around that price range. Runs DDR3 memory. Perfect. It's 1156 as far as the chipset. We thought this is going to be great. So we went ahead and we installed that board, thinking the DVI HDMI would work. Then we got a Intel processor running the i7. It's the 860S. You have to be careful in your processors. If you want to use HDMI or DVI out, you need to use a basic HD-compatible graphics processor. It has graphics on the processor. And i5 and i3 and some dual cores have this offer and have this available. This i7 processor we have doesn't. And you can find these processors ranging between the price of $125 generally to about $200, depending on which one you get.
And I will assume that you have to kind of know this before you start buying the hardware and putting the computer together before you find out.
Yeah, you really should. Otherwise, you're going to come up to this wall and go, I can't use that. So we've had to install a separate graphics card for that, which we then in turn plug the DVI in and connect it to the TV via HDMI. So you lose that extra sound benefit, but that's okay. We were fine with that. At some point, I wouldn't mind going out and buying another processor and then using that. But this processor is great for video editing, etc. So that that certainly has been overcome in that respect. And I think that's the only thing we're waiting on. And once we have that, but we were thinking, we want the process to be easier. If you're sitting across from your big screen TV, you've magnified all of your icons because you're maybe 15 feet from your television. You've magnified your icons so you can see it on the big screen TV. We've got a 37-inch Philips that we're using it on. But what about your input devices? You have your mouse, you have your keyboard. So you're going to sit across with a wireless mouse because you can plug your USB ports into the computer. You have your mouse, so you can run a wireless mouse as well. But what if you had something that was a little easier? Because you're using this just as an entertainment home theater PC. We found a product. Gloria and I took a drive last week to CompUSA. Found a product. We said, oh, this is perfect for the home theater PC enthusiast. So let me show you.
Oh, did you say CompUSA?
I did. I meant fries. Sometimes I get going. It takes a while for my brain to catch up.
I was going to say, I remember you going to fries without me.
All right, so here we go. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to mention, and T-Rex mentioned in the chat room that he has a remote. I think he's talking about the Windows Media Center remote. But yes, you can get Windows 7 drivers, and the SIIG device. I did contact the company, and they sent me a link for the actual drivers. But here's the device that we found, and we just thought this was really cool. This is from a company called SIIG. I don't know if you've heard of this company. It is a wireless multi-touchpad mini keyboard. We saw this. We thought, oh, wait a minute. It has the mouse pad. It has a keyboard, so you can sit across from your television, and you have the benefit of running the device. So let me go ahead.
I've heard of the company before. I'm so familiar with the name.
They make a lot of products, and I think I've used some of their products before. This wasn't that expensive as well, which is also kind of nice. Come on here. Let me show you this. I haven't taken it out. Because we're waiting to get the Media Center remote first. There we go. And this is a nice looking keyboard. So here, let me give you a better look at that right there. Here's the keyboard. You got the trackpad right here. And this is from SIIG. You can sit across from the computer, and you have all the features of a keyboard, full size type keyboard. You have your.
Are you sure? Because it looks like from here. It looks like a keyboard for like a 15-inch notebook.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the 10 keys. That is missing. But why would we want 10 keys? We've got the keys up on top. So, so I guess you can't really say it's a full-size keyboard, but the keys they don't feel minimized. And again, you've got the trackpad, so you can do your mouse. Obviously, I wouldn't want to use this in a gaming situation. I'd probably want to hook a regular mouse up. Or now with Windows 7 PCs, you can hook up, your USB controller for your Xbox directly to your computer and use it like that if you're used to gaming with an Xbox. It's pretty nice. So it has that new plastic smell. Love that. And I just really it's pretty cool because you could be sitting with this in your lap and go online, search for your websites, get your news, the whole bit.
I like it.
I like that. So very cool. And then unfortunately,
now you bought that, right?
Yeah.
Can we ask how much it was? Or?
Not that much. $40.
Oh, that's
pretty pleased with that. So it was on sale too. That's another reason why we got it. All right, so here is this is the phone that Slick was going to finally get to try Android. From let me unplug this here. This is from Sprint. This is kind of cool. This is the I believe it's the Ovation, and this is the Sprint version of it. And you can customize your screen. If you can see this, let me give you a better look at that. Customize your screen so that right now we are in gaming mode. So you got the Sims characters on there, and depending on what you do a lot. And it is a Droid device, which is pretty cool. And unfortunately, this is going back. Are you okay, Slick?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody there was cologne wafting through the building, and it just caught me by surprise.
All right.
Continue, Sal.
Now, they have this thing on the Sprint devices called the ID, so we can change the ID. Now, you saw how we had it as a gamer. Let's change it to entertainment. So we're changing it to entertainment. This is pretty nice. And there you go. There's your entertainment screen. So you see how the screen is different. It's music. You know, you got a musical note, and it's kind of bland. I kind of like the entertainment one a little better. But you can easily change your wallpaper, you know, if you want to. It's kind of one of those little fun features of the phone. Like this phone so much that I went out and over the holidays, I decided I need to get my girls' phone service. So we went ahead and bought a T-Mobile Optimus. And it's basically the same phone. It doesn't have that ID service that Sprint offers. But got a pretty good deal on this Droid device. I think we end up paying $90 for 2 phones, and then the service. So we'll see how they like the service from T-Mobile. So far, so good. No complaints.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very
service plan is a little more money than the service plan that I have with Sprint. My service plan from Sprint, I can actually have 4 phones, and those phones I pay $150, I think, a month for. With the 2 phones from T-Mobile, it's $150 a month. So
with the 150, well, for each, I guess, for different services. With the 150 on T-Mobile, how many minutes? Is it unlimited?
No, they share 750 minutes for that. On my plan, it's 1,500 minutes on Sprint with 4 phones. So they share that, but it's unlimited web, unlimited data. So that makes it real nice.
Well, unlimited web, unlimited data on T-Mobile as well?
No, it's unlimited web and unlimited data on T-Mobile for the $150 a month.
Okay, how about
unlimited text,
web, unlimited data for
Sprint?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm all about, because if you get the unlimited data on either plan, you know, that's what you're going to abuse.
Well, one thing though is, and I found this with T-Mobile. At least I haven't got the bill yet to be sure of, but they can hotspot these, so you can do a personal hotspot. Sprint charges a little extra for these. I don't believe T-Mobile does, because that service is available. Because I checked out their phones and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So no, Sprint has really been so far one of the best as far as service plans, but I have to pay to get my service turned back on. So we decided in the meantime, let's get them something. So we got them the T-Mobiles, and that way I can kind of understand how their service works. And then I'm going to cancel their phones with Sprint and have to pay a small fine. You know how that works.
Right.
I would like to have got something with no contract, but that's fine for now.
So you got 2 of those?
Yeah, I've got two of these Optimus, and I mean they're pretty good. The battery life on them is about 1 day, depending on their usage. They tend to just leave them plugged in. The camera takes great photos, and the video isn't too bad either. And then it comes with a memory card installed, 2 gigabytes of memory that was installed in the phone, and then they can easily chat. They can, because it's Droid, they can go online. They can access, Facebook, Twitter, all of the fun things that, the kids are doing these days.
Yeah.
That's
wacky kids.
That's my old man speak. And I'll tell you what, I haven't turned the service back on yet, but it beats my 750. It really does.
I still like the 750. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't know. Because I've used the Droid, I do like this. I mean, I do like the Android services, not so much. This Facebook on this thing is kind of.
It took me back to reminded me about the Palm. I was kind of hoping, and again, CES is not over yet, so we'll have to see. But I'm still kind of holding out and hoping that at some point, Hewlett-Packard, is it Hewlett-Packard in Palm now?
Yeah,
Hewlett-Packard Palm?
Yeah.
At some point, got my fingers crossed, that Hewlett-Packard Palm is going to say, we got something new, and it's a tablet or PDA, or a little larger than a PDA and almost a tablet, or it's a tablet. And those of you that still have your Palm TXs and your Palm Life Drives and whatever Palm, you can convert to it. It's the replacement for the PDAs that we used to produce. Still holding out for it. Come on, baby. Come on. I'm like, I wish that's why if I were in Vegas, that's what I'd be doing at the table. Come on, Palm. Go, baby. Spin that wheel.
We'll have to see. It would be nice. We'll see what announcements come out of that. But that's good. Well,
everybody's been screaming about, they've been waiting. They thought Verizon was going to announce the iPhone. I guess not yet, and maybe not this weekend, but we'll see. There's everybody's gabbing about it. You never know until they say something, I guess.
Well, I think I saw a comment by somebody on Twitter that I thought was kind of made a point. Why would you go spend the money on a Verizon iPhone and get that when next month or 2 months you're going to be able to get an iPhone, a new version of it?
Do you think you're going to have an iPhone 5 coming up?
I don't know. So that's
I
think their push is going to be for the, well, now they've got the $49 iPhone 3, which you can get at Walmart.
I don't know about that. I saw it on AT&T's website.
Yeah, you can get that now. I don't know.
Oh, it's the iPhone 3GS, I believe it is.
Yeah,
3GS on AT&T. Yeah.
I kind of think that possibly their push is really for the iPad right now, more than anything. So I think they're going to look at things that are going to enhance that. But then again, you never know with Apple.
I haven't. Oh, you want to get that?
Let me see who it is first. It's my friend Emery. He's probably calling to tell me about Gabby Giffords, so he'll call us later.
All right.
I think.
Unless
he was there. Hold on. Hello, Emery?
Yeah.
Hey, Emery, we're actually on the air, and I wanted to take your call because I have a feeling I know why you're calling.
Giffords.
Yeah, you weren't there, were you?
No.
Oh, all right.
Just trying to find out if you knew what was going on.
What? Hold on, Gloria is saying what? Oh, they are. Okay, so Slick, MSN may have jumped the gun there. So now we're hearing that Gabby Giffords is still alive. She's in surgery. She is still breathing.
Critical.
Yeah, I saw conflicting reports on the internet.
Is dead, though.
What was that?
4 others have been confirmed dead. One was a child.
A child?
Yeah.
You know, was John Justice there?
No.
No? Because, wow. That is absolutely crazy. Well, Slay, thank you very much to Emery. Emery, we're on Tech Talk Radio right now, and this news has just been taken us by surprise, especially that it happening in our own community, in our own town.
Well, it's sad. It's a shame that people have to resort to something like this. Even if you disagree with somebody for their views, a gun is never the answer.
No, and I'll tell you what, I told Gloria, I said, no matter what I felt politically about Gabrielle Giffords, I had a tremendous amount of respect from her due to the fact that I was at an event for the Marine Corps League, and she made an appearance. And she didn't publicize it. It wasn't with cameras or anything else. She made an appearance to thank the installation of this Marine Corps League and, congratulate them on that. And so she had a lot of respect for our military, it seemed, for her to be able to do that. And I got a lot of respect for her for that. And just tragic, just tragic.
It's a shame.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, buddy. And, again, so MSN is reporting that she's been killed, but we're finding out, no, she's, according to a UMC spokesperson, she is still in surgery. So I'm sure they are working diligently to keep her alive and hopefully let her recover from this. But from what I understand, according to reports, she was shot at point-blank range.
Yeah. And I was seeing tweets on the internet.
What was that, to Emery?
They at least have the shooter, so.
They do? Alive?
Yeah. Bystanders tackled him as he was trying to get away and held him.
Wow. All right.
Young kid, 19, 20 years old. So.
Crazy. All right. Well, thank you very much, Emery. Slick, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I was just going to say that I was watching tweets
go
by, and when people were saying that she was dead, there were other tweets coming by that were saying, according to Gabrielle Giffords' staff, she is not dead. She is in surgery.
Right.
So that's why I hesitated on saying, we were taking those notices from Fox and NPR, and then I saw those other tweets coming by saying, no, she's not dead. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, I guess, you trust a news source like MSNBC. What does it, what does that tell you? Anyway. All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Emery. I appreciate that. And, again, I recommend you follow our local news. This is going to be a national story. This is something that will be, will probably, if it's not on CNN with live crews here, because she is a congresswoman, it'll be all over the place. And the sad thing about this, Slick, right away what we're going to hear. We're going to hear for gun control, especially in a state where you're allowed to open carry. and that's been of recent years. That'll be what the pointing is, and all we can hope for is that she survives this and recovers well, and our thoughts go out to the families involved in this. It's kind of a sad way to end a broadcast today, but we wish you all the best. And Slick, join us next week.
Let me check my calendar. Let's see. What do I have on the schedule?
Now, are you doing?
Let's see.
Are you going to do?
Huh?
I got to ask. Are you going to do Haywood's show this week and talk about some of the cool things he's done?
He'll probably beg me to be on his show like he usually does. I don't know. I have to carry him so much sometimes. It's just he's not watching this. He's not in the chat room. Is he?
I don't know. I'm not sure actually. I know Raven's there. Matter of fact, I got to thank everybody for popping in today. Synac, Scorp TV, Raven Cure, Raven, love you. Ray, love you too, buddy. Ladina, Cubs fan, Wireless, T-Rex, Gandalf, and CC Mike, love you all for being here. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I recommend you go ahead. Ray says he's having a meltdown at CES.
Yeah, there's other stuff we could talk about because, like I said, I did catch some of him, and I tried to prepare him. I tried to give him our experience.
We both did,
what he should think and stuff like that. And I think the first day was a little overwhelming. The second day kind of wore him down.
Right.
I tried to warn him though. I tried to prepare him, but he didn't train properly. What can I tell you?
It's tough. There should be a training course for CES. It really should. Well, we'll check in with him. Maybe we can get him to call into the show next week, and we can actually find out what he thought of it. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, Slick, you have a great one. We'll talk to you real soon. All right.
Bye.
And you can check out the podcast at techtalkradio.com /podcast. We'll have that posted there. We got rid of the widget, the spring widget that we had up there. It was just causing all kinds of problems. So just click through, subscribe to the podcast. You can listen to this, carry it with you, share it with a friend, and, of course, watch this video on a sad day from the show. Take care, and God bless all of you. Bye-bye.